SEC accountings is not the same as US GAAP accountings. SEC accountings, its source is from a variety of places. Basically, following a traditional legal hierarchy. Okay, we have force of law, we have statutes, those has been signed into law, security laws, and we have equally enforcement SEC regulations, and we have some SEC release may or may not have forces. Okay, these are the SEC releases, and we're going to talk about some of them. And we also have SEC staff interpretations, or SEC staff no action letters. Those are the letters the staff responds to inquiries, but those have no legal forces. So together we call these SEC accountings. Right, at the top of this structure we have the security laws. And we have some major legislations, right? For example, the Security Exchange Act 34, Sarbanes-Oxley 2002, right? Dodd-Frank, Wall Street Reform 2010. And then we can see a full list of the security laws in this link. Right, so we have a summary of the security laws in the SEC's website, right? Starting from the Security Act 1933, right? It has a brief summary about the 1933. Right, the 1933 is often referred as the truth in security law, right, which requires investors to receive financial and other significant information concerning securities being offered for public sale. Right, basically talk about the SEC registration for issuing stocks. Then we have the Security Act 1934, right? When so security has been offered, right, we're going to keep monitoring those firms' disclosure. So it has requirement for corporate reportings, right? Any asset over $10 million and the securities held by more than 500 owners, right, must file annual and other periodic reports. That's a requirement. Also, we need to file proxy statement, right, before shareholder vote. You're going to disclose tender offers, and inside trading is prohibited. That's 34. We have the Trust Indenture Act 39. It's about, right, disclosures for bond debenture notes offerings. Then Investment Company Act 1940, right, regulates organizations of companies, including mutual fund, right? Basically, the investment companies will be regulated. And the Investment Advisor Act 1940, right, regulates investment advisors. And then we have a long period of time without any new regulations until the 2002, right? Right after the 2000, the high-tech bubble, we have the Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. This is a major, the most far-reaching reforms, right, Americans since the time of Franklin Roosevelt. So it has been a while, right? It has been a while. So it's a very big, important regulation. Right, not only accounting, it also has a lot of new things for auditing. Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, the PCAOB, is established because of this act. The PCAOB oversees activities auditing profession. Then we had the Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform Consumer Protection Act 2010, signed by President Obama, Then we have the Jumpstart All Business Startups Act 2012, or JOBS Act. Aims to help business raise its funds in public capital market by minimizing regulatory requirements. That's a JOB Act. Right, so these they have statutory authorities because they are signing to the law. Let's talk about SEC regulations. Yeah, they're not laws, but they can be enforced. So where can we find those regulations? Right, we talk about Federal Register. Federal Register is official daily publications, right, where SEC and other federal agencies publish proposed regulations for comments, then adopted final regulations, explanations of actions taken, and announcement of significant interpretations of the law. So everything will be published in this called Federal Register. And where do we find SEC regulations, right? SEC regulations, the final regulations are arranged by subject into the Code of Federal Regulations, CFRs. SEC rules are found in Chapter 2 of Title 17. Okay, Chapter 2 of Title 17 is all about SEC regulation. Right, so here we have the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 17 and Chapter 2. Right, so here we have all the SEC regulations. There are quite a lot, but let's talk about some of those famous or important ones for accounting. Well, the regulation SX, right? It's about forms and content of financial statement, right? So we have the Schedule 14A, that's for proxy statement, and Form S1 and F1, those are registration statement. S is for U.S. registrants and F is for foreign registrants, right? For annual report, we have 10K, that's for U.S. companies, and 20F, that is for foreign companies. And if you have an amendment, that's 10K-A, that's amended annual report. And quarterly reports, we have 10Q, right? And any information disclosures, material information disclosures, that's 8K for U.S. companies and 6K for foreign companies. And Regulation SK, it's about disclosure rules for non-financial information for public companies. For example, a business how a company disclose business descriptions, disclose risk factors, right? And the management discussions. Basically, these disclosures need to be regulated in order to help investors, right, to improve the quality of disclosures and help investors make informed decisions. And Regulation FD, fair disclosures, right? So basically it says if you want to disclose, you cannot disclose to a specific, people. You have to disclose to all investors. That's a fair disclosures. And Regulation G, it's about disclosures of non-GAAP financial measures. Right? We know net income is a financial measures, or operating income is a financial measures, but you can modify those measures, right? Adjusted net income, adjusted operating income. If you disclose those, you have to carefully define those and illustrate how you calculate those non-GAAP, right, financial measures. Otherwise, it's going to mislead investors. So below the security laws and SEC regulations, we have SEC releases. Okay, SEC releases, and some of them have can be enforced, some of them cannot. So let's talk about some of those important SEC releases. We have the Financial Reporting Release, FR. But these are not formal SEC rules or laws, but they provide interpretations and clarifications on existing financial reporting rules and accounting standards. So this link is going to give you to the FORs, okay? And previously, SEC issues the accounting series release ASRs, those are predecessors to FR. So that basically these are the same thing, okay? And also SEC issues accounting and enforcement release, AAERs, okay? And AAER announces enforcement actions of SEC's reporting and the disclosure requirements. So if there's any companies or person who violates SEC's reporting disclosure rules, okay, well, SEC is going to issue those AERs, so they will be enforced. Right, and the AER report is going to show what's wrong with the company's practice or personal practice, and all their communications between these two parties, okay, will be disclosed as well. So if you're interested in learning, for example, fraudulent accountings, right? Fraudulent accountings and AER is a good place to see. Take a look at how company committed those fraud and how those fraud was discovered, and what's the consequences. Okay, everything will be included in AERs. We also have SEC staff policies. Again, they are kind of interpretations similar to the FASB's technical bulletins, published in the staff accounting bulletins. So you can use this link to see the staff accounting bulletins. Similar to the FRs, but the difference is these are published by SEC staff. So, and these are published by SEC. You see the level is kind of different. So you know, so SEC staff policies cannot be enforced. Right. So finally, let's talk about how to get information from SEC. Right. That's an EDGAR database. So everyone, right? Small investors, big investors, institutions, they all get information from the same place, EDGAR database. Right, you're going to just type EDGAR or SEC filings. You're going to get this link directly. You have various ways to search information from EDGAR database, like full text search, right? You can also search by the industry classifications. But typically for us, if you want to do kind of a search information about the companies, you know, we can always do a search by company's ticker or the CIK or name. I'm going to search Apple. Right, if you type Apple here, and the Apple Inc. AAPL is the company we want. Of course, we have other company called Apple, but this is not Apple we mean. Alright, so I'm going to click Apple. Right, so we have the company information, the basic information, right? Its industry is code, SIC code 3571, electronic computers, right? It's business addresses. So here we have the latest filings. As you can see, we have the Apple's quarterly report 10Q filed on August 1st, right? And also an 8K report July 31st. And select the filings. You can these filings are grouped by 8K, you know, events, or 10K or 10Q. Those are annual and quarterly reports and proxy statement, right? And ownership disclosures. So most likely we want the financial reports. So let's click the financial reports. All right. So I'm gonna choose the most recent 10K, the annual reports filed on last year. Right, so here we have Apple's 10K, and it September 2024. And as you can see, this is a XBRL filing, so you notice that there's a lot of tag. The tag for those numbers and the terms, it's an XBRL filing. Right? So you can just read everything if you want, right? For the whole 10K. And right here you can view by sections, right? Financial statement, notes, and other things. You can do these kind of things, or search, right? Search the section, or search the whole 10K to find the information you want. And the SEC editor offers the keyword search for all documents, right? For example, if I want to search iPhone 16, right? I have these 10K report 2014, right? Has iPhone 16 mentioned, iPhone 16, right? If I search iPhone 17, it's not mentioned yet, right? So those are the basic usage of the Edgar database. You can find some simple information. And more advanced users and professionals, they're gonna design their connectors with SEC Edgar. They download raw data, they compile the data, and make their own usage of those the SEC filings.